Hello everybody and welcome back to our multicolored set review for Modern Horizons 2. Obviously we are talking about all of the multicolored cards, whether that's hybrid mana or actual factual multicolored. First off, I'm going to make Eli say the name of this card because I don't want to. It is the meme. It is Asmora Nomar Dicarda de Sinacula Decar.
Johnny long name.
It's the long name. It's the meme. It's the one that goes into Hollowed 1. It's the one that puts the 1 in Hollowed 1. I don't know.
I think... Alright. This card, Johnny long name, is a meme because of the fact that it is about 25 characters is the name. But, like, the best part is that I think it's pretty good. It's got... So, you can only cast it if you've discarded a card this turn. Which is a little bit harder to enable now that Faithless Looting has left the format. There's a lot more, but there's a lot of payoffs for this. In particular, Underworld Cookbook, which will be coming up in the colorless set review, is a pretty good discard outlet. It's just because it's pretty cheap. You can get extra copies with this, pitch them to the other discard outlets you're playing. Also, the food token generation lets you play a couple powerful food payoffs. This thing has a good payoff for food. You can sacrifice 2 food to deal 6. That's already a good rate. There is Feasting Troll King, which comes back for free if you sacrifice 3 food. And you can discard that with the Underworld Cookbook. Discarding that gets you a third of the way there already. Playing this in Hollow One with other discard outlets, or playing Hollow One in a show with all those cards in it. I've been seeing things running around, not in the Modern Challenge, but definitely in the Twitter sphere, of a deck involving this card and a lot of food tokens and discard outlets, your graveyard synergies type stuff. I think this card is pretty powerful, and it'll be fun to write it down on a deck list.
I will never be doing that. I don't care if this card is the best card in the set. I won't be doing that. Next up, we have Dakon Shadowslayer for all those Esper gamers out there. This one enters the battlefield with loyalty equal to the number of lands. It surveils, it exiles, it dices, it slices.
Well, yeah, actually, I think this card kind of is a one-trick pony because, like,
really?
The minus ability is is pretty good for what you're getting. Being able to deal with almost anything. Or is it creature or permanent?
It is creature.
Oh, okay. Well, being able to deal with any creature is a pretty good rate. The plussing to surveil is not great. The ultimate is solid if you manage to have enough lands to cast it for that. So it's maybe not an Esper control card. It's maybe more of an artifact card leaning on the ultimate. Playing this on turn 3 and then plussing it to surveil is not what you want to be doing. Don't get into the mindset that it's a 3-mana Planeswalker. This is one where you want to hit a bunch of land drops and then play it and exile 2 creatures, and get a 2-for-1 that way, or you want to play it and then do something with the artifact ability.
Outside of that,
very weird card.
EDH card.
Definitely.
Let's see. We have, next up, we have Ethersworn, Sphinx, blue-white flyer, Cascade, affinity for artifacts. This one seems pretty good.
Yeah, like, so there's a little bit of tension here because you want to have lots of cheap cards to get the affinity going, but you also want to make sure you want to build a deck where you cascade into something reasonable. Maybe tough to do that at the same time. You might just have to suffer with hitting an Ornithopter some percentage of the time. But I wanted to include some of the enough of the affinity cards on our list because affinity is a very powerful ability, and I would feel stupid if there was a strong deck based around those cards. I think this one has a chance, maybe a little bit less than the draw 2, but it's still a value body that you can play for like a reasonable time frame.
Wow, I didn't think this one would make the list. That's Garth, One Eye. Is this on it just because it says Black Lotus on it, or what?
Okay, so
it's a human. It's a human.
So we have to head people off at the pass. Yeah. You know, we can't.
Are you taking your Aether Vial up to 5?
No, and you're not playing this card, but it is funny though.
Yes. Actually, here's the real main event for humans cards that could actually sort of change the deck a little bit here.
Oh yeah.
We do have General Ferris Rokirik. The hexproof from monocolored. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, create a 4/4 golem, 3/1. It is a 1 toughness creature, so Lava Dart makes me sad.
But it's hexproof from that. Other way around. You thought it was. You thought no. Okay. So in order to kill. In order to kill this card, you have to embarrass yourself by playing 2016 Lightning Helix, or Electrolyze or whatever. Nobody plays any gold removal. This thing's really hard to kill.
Yes.
On top of that, if you play this, untap, and then play a gold spell, you've already got a great deal. If this card said, like during the first upkeep, you untap with this, make a 4/4, I would already be on board. A 3/1 and then a suspend 1 4/4. That's a great deal. But like you can have it sit and play for turns and just like play like a couple gold cards and generate an insane board presence.
It's a Hero of Precinct 1.
You can even tap the artifact tokens to activate Warlord Rogue if you're.
Oh my gosh.
So, I think that this card could replace Mantis Rider.
Oh, he was telling me about this actually. I thought it was blasphemy because Mantis Rider is awesome. But the more I'm hearing about this, like you might, it's legendary.
It might be like a situation where normally you would play 4 Reflector Mage, 4 Mantis Rider, and then 2 Flux slots at this mana cost. So maybe it's just you're playing 10 3-drops, and this is one of them. I think you could build your deck in such a way to forego the Mantis Rider route and just go for more of a board presence. Go for more board presence. Might not be necessary. Maybe a metagame thing. Okay, but this is not just a human. It also goes well with any old gold cards. You can play it in a deck like an aggressive deck. Goes off of a Noble Hierarch, untap, play, or the new Hierarch. Play Shardless Agent or Bloodbraid Elf, hoping to hit multiple triggers in the same turn. You can just play any old gold creature. Might have to reduce yourself to playing Lightning Helix. Great in the mirror now to kill this thing. But Anamorphos is also a free gold spell. You can do it that way. There's already a very good path for gold cards in Niv Mizzet. You could make more of a less controlling, more creature mid-rangey Niv Mizzet. Maybe still bring to light for Omnath.
Yeah.
Like this card I think those are the 2 homes. It goes humans, goes a Niv Mizzet, 3 homes. It goes to humans, Niv Mizzet, and some sort of Tribal Flames deck.
I'm buying this card, so you can guarantee that.
Yeah, this is a nice one.
Next up, we go from a very, very high point to, I'm going to say a low point. This is a disappointment. We've got...
Oh, is this the Planeswalker?
Gaia Drone, Dihada, whatever, Tomato. We've got...
Gaia Drone, Tomato.
The Grixis Planeswalker. So for those Grixis mages out there in our lives, Eli and I have a bunch of them. This card sucks.
This card's not great. It does have a very powerful ultimate. If you can play some sort of game plan where you play this and then protect it until you mind control his stuff, I think that's reasonable. That's difficult because it's a 4-mana Planeswalker.
And you're playing Grixis, so you're like trying to keep their creatures in play.
Tapping out. Yeah. Well, so for example, you play this. They have 1 creature in play. You freeze it.
Yeah.
Then they play 2 creatures. You freeze one. You freeze one, and then you kill the other one, and you repeat that until you can ultimate it. But then they just kill you because they're like, okay, I can't attack your Planeswalker. Attack you instead. That's how the card works, right?
Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Put a corruption counter on up to 1 other
and then
target creature.
It has protection from corruption counters as the first ability.
Oh yes.
Okay, yeah. So the problem with that is that it protects itself, but not you.
Yeah.
Where normally if the Planeswalker has Jace has Unsummon, Shiner has Flame Slash. They protect you and the thing at the same time. But if you're gonna just die instead of your Planeswalker, while it just mopes around and. Threaten requires some deck building that is not really what you want to do in these colors. It's an awkward card. I tried my best to sell it.
Yeah. No thank you. Next up we have Goblin Electromancers, brother or sister. We have Goblin Anarchomancer. Each spell you cast with red or green costs 1 or less.
This is another card that I think will go well in a combo Goblin strategy. Normally I wasn't high on the Fecundity version of that deck because it was very all in, But this is definitely what that card wants. I can think of a great storm card that makes a bunch of goblins, and that card would go well with this. And as well, we have a Goblin Noble Hierarch, and that would go well with the green as well. Other than that, I think that in most of the spell-based Stormy decks, you'd rather play Baral as your backup Electromancer, or you'd rather play Electromancer itself. But this card could enable a new archetype.
Let's hope so, because those goblins need some help. Next up, we have, I think, might be the weirdest card in the set. We have Grist, the Hunger Tide, the green-black Planeswalker. That is a 1/1 insect creature when it's not on the battlefield, in addition to its other types.
Yeah.
So you can take this one with
Collect a company.
Oh, you can collect a company into this?
Costs 3, right?
That's how that works?
It's a creature in other zones, right?
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's a very weird line of rules text.
Whoa, I was thinking more along the line of, like, if you cast Despise, you can take this and laugh at them, like...
Well, no. You gotta think more.
I didn't think of collected company with this card.
You can Court of Calling for this. You can collect a company for this.
Okay.
So it's got some... It's a very weird card.
That's a lot better.
It's not the best one that's actually in play, though.
But like, yeah, but that's still... Okay, I might have to rethink my thoughts about this one.
My brain jumps to the Yawgmoth deck, because it's a sacrifice outlet, right?
Yeah.
So you could, like... My brain is jumping to the Yawgmoth deck. That normally is not a collected company deck, but it is a Court of Calling deck, I believe. So it helps in that sense. And if you need to build... If there's a green-black deck, and you can play this as a resilient threat, and that doesn't mess with your collected company hits. There's other weird applications that I'm not thinking of, because it's so bizarre.
Overall, it has like insect synergy. I don't know how many insects we're playing in Modern, but then
I guess you could sacrifice a Mutafult. That's the only thing.
The ultimate isn't particularly powerful unless it's against burn.
It's more about.
It's more about the minus.
It's more about the
the minus, being able to collect company.
The opportunity cost of like being able to include it in a creature-heavy deck and not have it mess with things that count the number of creatures you're getting or whatever. Yeah.
Wow, that one
very strange.
Changes my opinion on that one a little bit. Next up, we have Squeeze. I don't know, Zombie Wizard Doctor or something. We have the Master of Death, which is not a legendary creature. That's weird. It's like the Mayor of Averbrook or the Hunt Master.
There's
of the Fells.
Multiple. Yeah, you
can
once
multiple
you've mastered
masters
it, you can go
death.
teach other people, and then they can master it, and they will also do it. But so this card is for your repeatable discard outlets. You generate an advantage that way. It's kind of niche, but we did have the card Solitary Confinement early in the set, so it's kind of a combo with that. It does cause you to lose life, so there's a clock on how long you can do that. But it's not as powerful as the Prized Amalgam coming directly into play sort of thing, but it does have some uses, like being able to make Liliana them, or the Rack them, or do sort of Solitary Confinement. There's a couple combos. Some of them are in the set that go well with this card. Not crazy.
Very straightforward card there. Yeah. We've got, next up, we have a blue-white enchantment in Moderation.
Oh, yeah.
This one might be some fire.
This one is another very strange one. It Rule of Laws yourself, but then all of your spells cantrip. So it can generate a lot of value in a protracted game. It's awkward though. It's awkward because the turn that you play it, you can't defend yourself from anything. And if you get into a situation where they play two very threatening cards in one turn, you will die to the second one. So I think that this card's kind of a trap. It might be that you have to build a different sort of a deck to take advantage of this. Maybe more of a rampy deck that only wants to tap out for one spell turn anyway. But then you're playing blue-white. Yeah. You can't play it with Bring to Light because you can't cast the second spell. I think this card's a trap. Yeah, this one seems very, very weird. This is our warning to everybody. Yeah. Next up, we have a very Eli card. It is a human. It is the Priest of Fell Rites. Does this go in humans? This is a freaking reanimated card, man. What are you messing around with? I don't know. You can get your Reflector Mage back or something. No. Okay, so in the Black Set review, we had the reanimation sub-theme that was going on. Mm-hmm. Weird to play white with that sort of strategy, but here we are. This is a pretty cheap way. You do have to go through a step where you're vulnerable to a removal spell, but this is a way to get some redundancy for the bring back a non-legendary creature effect. There are some powerful creatures that people have been sleeping on because of Gristlebrand outshined them, and this is I think a great inclusion into Modern because it encourages people to once again play with different sorts of reanimator targets.
The next up, Eli and I love going to heavy metal festivals. We love seeing the headliners. This is the Rakdos Headliner. It's a 2-mana 3/3 haste. Echo, discard a card.
Yeah, this is
a weird one.
I think this is a great one because you know it takes a little bit for you to get to the discard a card part, but you know ever since Faithful Fluting, I'm just looking for any way to get a freaking card into my graveyard from my hand. And I think this one, if you're playing if you're going for a more aggressive route, it's good with like the Vengevine Gravecrawler type stuff, because it's such an efficient beater as well. But I think that you could put it in that sort of a shell, even though you have to wait a turn to pitch a card.
It's a pretty. It could be like a nice aggressive card too if you're playing red-black aggro. This seems like something that would have been better in Standard than anywhere else. So I think in Modern, in those sort of aggressive strategies,
it's not really for Dread, which wants to play more of a protracted game. It's more for like your Bridgevine type thing, where you want to both dump stuff in your graveyard, but also attack them with hasty Vengevines, hasty 3/3 devil creatures. I think it can have a home.
Next up, we have Sithis Harvest Hand, not from the Elder Scrolls, of course, but an Enchantress card, legendary enchantment creature. This is an EDH general waiting to happen.
How's that name not copyrighted?
Yeah, I don't know, but either way,
yes.
This one is for Enchantress. That's about it.
Yeah,
We've talked about this like 3 times with all the other Enchantress cards.
This one is nice because it is a 2-drop, so it's a little bit cheaper. That's a problem that those decks have had before, is all the cards that get your engine running cost 3 or more. But this one will help them actually have a reasonable curve that lets them be Modern playable.
So after that, we have the Madness Terminate. We have Terminal Agony. I think this one might not make the cut just because
this
one sorcery and you can play Terminate.
Well, I believe Madness lets you circumvent this. The Madness will let you circumvent.
Oh, the Madness gets around
the sorcery speed.
The sorcery speed part.
See, the awkward part about this is that you want those decks are normally very proactive, and this is a reactive card, so it might be like a way to it might be a sideboard card if they want to like play against Death Shadow or Primeval Titan decks. But I wouldn't really expect this to be a main deck card. But it's a very good rate once you Madness it. It's Terminate, obviously. It's the illusion.
So next up, we have the Hunter Bolden card.
Yeah. You were complaining about there not being a lot of beef.
There's not a lot of beef. This one
here we go.
Is both beef, and it's it looks like it's a little bit shorter and loud, like me. It is the Territorial Kavu. It is a green-red 2-drop. It is Domain, which I love as a mechanic. And when it attacks, you either discard a card and draw a card, or you exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. This card seems awesome.
Yeah, so this card I think could kind of revitalize a Tribal Zoo aggro deck with like maybe 1 Triome to get you started, and then a bunch of Shocks and Duels. Shocks and Duels are the same thing. A bunch of Fetches and Duels. You could also just slot this in. There's already Death Shadow decks that play a bunch of colors because they want to pay a bunch of life. So you could use this as kind of just like backup Termagoyf / Scourge of the Skyclaves. Play a couple of those in there. Once again, goes very well with our friend Ferris Rarick or Rorik or
whatever.
The Generalissimo, the gold guy. It is
Yeah.
another cheap gold card that you can play proactively. And those two are friends.
After that, we're getting to the cards that are entering their way from Legacy to Modern. And weirdly, I guess this is for limited reasons, we have Fire Ice, which is a rare now. Fire Ice, pretty self-explanatory, pretty...
I think in general, a lot of those reprints are a little bit higher rarity. I think that's because like the packs have like you can get a Fire Ice and a regular rare.
Oh, okay.
So the rarity for those is kind of weird. Fire Ice is there's already a lot of ways to ping things in Modern, but this one's a little bit flexible because if you're not playing against a creature deck, you can just cycle it, or if you're playing against a big creature deck, you can tempo them with the ice half of it. Fire Ice is a great card. A lot of people, a lot of used to playing that one.
Next up, we have a very powerful card, especially if you've played Cube at any point. We have Mirari's Wake. I don't think that this one makes the cut, but it's super powerful, so it could.
Yeah, I mean, untapping with Mirari's Wake is the easy way to win a game. It can be difficult to get to that point, though. But just have, like, the thing that the Enchantress deck wants to do is draw a bunch of cards, and then you're gated on... And then, like, once you have a bunch of cards in hand, you're gated on mana, and this is an enchantment in those colors, so, like, I thought that you could go somewhere with that.
Outside of that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Get it for your cubes, get it for your EDH deck.
That's inclusion.
We have a card that a lot of people have been clamoring for, a lot of people have been asking for to put into Modern for a long time. You can now Shardless Agent into Ancestral Visions in Modern, because that's not powerful enough for Legacy anymore. So they pushed it down to Modern. Shardless Agent, what do you think?
Yeah, this does a few things. First of all, it's a gold card to go with our Generalissimo friend. It's maybe multiple gold cards. So
Oh, it's a human too.
It's a human, so it doesn't really work with either Val though. So we're gonna leave that one on the bench. I think for the most part. It's even an artifact, but it's a blue-green artifact, kind of awkward. The most important thing I think is the cascading, not for value but to combo off, either with Living End or some of the new suspend cards, or even some of the more niche old ones like Restore Balance, if you're into that sort of thing. Yeah, Living End I think is the big winner of this though. There was already a As Foretold Living End deck that was close to playable, but now I think you can change your mana base to be a Violent Outburst, Shardless Agent mana base, and then cascade into Living End, play mostly blue cyclers, play Force of Negation, maybe a couple Brazen Borrowers and Mystical Disputes. There's a lot of new ways to make Living End not a heinous drawback of not being able to play cheap cards. Now you can play cheap cards, and this is a very good cascade spell to help that out.
It's just a powerful card. Like, people will find a way to play this card.
Yeah, you can mid-range with it, you can combo with it.
Next up, we have yet another Enchantress card, so we'll get through this one very quickly. We have Sterling Grove, other enchantments you have Shroud, sacrifice it, reveal an enchantment card, and put it on your library, and then shuffle, then put it on your library. Enchantress, Enchantress, Enchantress.
This one protects your pieces, and if it does not protecting your pieces, you go get some whatever hate bullet for the matchup. Enchantment hate bullets are very powerful usually, so.
There you go.
Yeah.
Next up, for the multicolor cards, finally, we have a Modern reprint that I think a couple years ago people would have been a lot more excited about this one than now, just because there is so much messed up stuff in Modern. That is Vindicate. You can blow up people's lands, you can blow up anything. Is there a white-black deck that can play this card, though?
Yeah, so I think this one might be more of a Niv Mizzet one, specifically because it's gold. That deck typically struggles against Tron, so it's probably better than a Maelstrom Pulse or Birth Decay in that sort of deck. And there aren't a lot of... Well, there's Kaya's Guile, but other than Kaya's Guile, I'm not really sure they're playing any black-white cards. So they specifically want a black-white card. And, you know, destroy permanent, that's very flexible. You know, it doesn't get much better than that.
Vindicate might not be as powerful as it used to be, but still very, like you said, flexible card.
There's a home for it, and there's definitely a home for it.
Yeah, you can play it in Abzan too. Abzan has been wanting a card like this and not wanting to lose 3 life to do so. And you can finally blow up your goddamn Tron lands.
Finally.
Finally, the Vindicate has come back. Okay, that'll do it for our multicolor set review. Make sure to watch any of the other ones if you missed them. And let us know in the comments what you think of it and all that good YouTube stuff. But that'll do it from Eli and I to you for now. And we'll see you again real soon. Thank you for watching.